I was tagged by Joan over at Joan's Pointed Plate. She had texted me to let me know because it's a Tuesday tag that I'm actually going to do on a Tuesday. Go figure. How did that work out that way? It's because I got a heads up. I usually don't watch my YouTube videos until about 10 or 11 o'clock at night because I am a night owl. I don't go to bed before 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's just who I am. Jim and I watch TV during the evening a little bit together, so when I come back into my little sanctuary back here, into my little woman cave, then I catch up on videos. But anyway, I was tagged, like once again, I was going to tell you that Joan's Pointed Plate, I'll leave a link to her channel down below. This is a brainchild of Tracy over at Trials of a Longhaired Girl. She likes to come up with some fun tags on Tuesdays for us to do. I usually don't get to mine till Thursdays, but I love tags. And I always seem to get tagged, and I love it. I just absolutely love it. But so I'm going to leave a link to her channel too, so go over there and give her some love. Subscribe to everybody I'm recommending too. So I am going to tag Valerie Reese, HeatherRoseUp, Meema Living Healthy, and Mel's Weight Loss Journey. Sorry, Robbie. My Sparkles was already tagged. I already gave her hell. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't swear. I already gave her heck. Because Robbie and I just know we have an unspoken agreement that we're going to tag each other. So, Robbie, tag. I know you're already it, but I don't care. So anyway, let's get started. And this is going to be my favorite tag of all the tags because it's family. And if you watch my channel, you know family means everything to me. I am lost without my family right now, I'll be honest with you. I am lost without my family, but they're in my heart. They're close in my heart. Anyway, number one, how big is your immediate family? Well, it's what you consider immediate family, I guess. If I was going to say my immediate family, it's Jim and I, and then my oldest son is Jimmy, then Danny, and then Christy. But I don't consider them just the only part of my immediate family because with Danny comes, well, I should start with Jimmy because he's my oldest. Jimmy is going to be 49 this year. Is it? Was that right? No. Oh, I'm making him too old. He's going to be 48. I'm going to be married 49 years. I knew the 49 was in my mind somewhere, but Jimmy's going to be 48. And he has David, who's my grandson, who's 19. And then Alyssa, who's going to be 13 this month. So that's 3 right there. And then he's was married to Cindy, but they're divorced. But I can still consider her part of my immediate family because she's the mother of my grandchildren, so she's still part of my immediate family. And then Jimmy has a new partner, Samantha, who I love with all my heart. She has 2 girls, Jamie and Jessie. So that would put, if Jimmy's family, because they're immediate family as far as I'm concerned. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 more. Just add that up. And then Danny is married to Shannon, and they have Sebastian, who's going to be 9. Oh, on the 9th. That's his golden birthday. That's the best birthday ever. It's kind of wasted when you're young because, like, my golden birthday was when I was 7, and your golden birthday is when you're the age of your birth date. So it was kind of wasted on me because, you know, you can get whatever you want on your golden birthday. But anyway, Sebastian's going to be 9, and then Oliver's going to be 8 in June 25th. So so that's another 3 people added onto that. So that's 3 and 6 is 9. So that's 9 more people. And then Christy is married to Aaron, and they have Sophia, who's going to be 10 next month on the 18th of June. So. And then if you watch my channel, you know that my immediate family is my family because then I have my sister Denise, and then she has Gary and Josh and Kylie, and then I have my sister Mary who has Don, and then my brother Michael who has Molly and Mike, his son Mike, and then JR and Lauren. So I mean, and then I have my Kathleen and Ricky, which is my sister Sue's kids, and then my brother Pat, who's deceased, and Diane was his ex-wife, and then he has Holly, and her husband's name is Jim, and then they have Brianna and Haley as their children, and then there's PJ with his wife Danielle, and then there's Steve, and then I already told you about Ricky, and Ricky is Shauna with Remy, my family. It's just too many people. It's too many people. But I consider them all my immediate family because I hold them all close to my heart. 5 minutes just on the first question. Well, this is going to be a long video. I'm so sorry. Do you have any siblings? Yes. I'm the oldest. I was born in 1950. My brother Michael was born in 1952. My sister Suzela, she's passed. She's gone much too soon. She was born in 1953. And then my brother Patrick, was born in 1957. He's passed also. My sister Mary, who was born in 1958. A sibling that I don't know, my mother lost in 1959. And then my sister Denise, 1960. So that's my siblings. Share a childhood memory. I have so many childhood memories. It's just, if you watch my channel, you know I just go on and on about my childhood memories. But I'm trying to think. A devastating childhood memory to a 5-year-old in kindergarten was our school was having a paper drive. I don't know if anybody remembers paper drives, but you would save all your newspapers and you'd bundle them up and tie them all up, and then you'd bring them, and then they turned them in and they made money and the whole thing. And so they were having a contest in the school, and whatever, like they picked one winner from each grade. And so like when I went to school, there was like a gazillion million kids because it was right after the war, and I'm part of the baby boom generation. But another memory is off track a little bit. My mother named me Sandra because it was not a very common name. And in my kindergarten class, there were 6 of us. It was a little bit more common than my mother thought. But anyway, so I think there was 3 morning kindergarten classes and 3 afternoon kindergarten classes because there were a lot of us kids. And there was a contest for each class, and then like the class that won, the whole kindergarten class, they got like a pizza lunch or something like that. But then each individual little kindergarten class that won, they got like some kind of special prize. I don't even remember what it was because we didn't win, and I was pissed. Because when I brought my bundle of papers and I didn't know where to put them, and I put them on the afternoon's class pile instead of the morning class pile, and the afternoon class beat us by 1 bundle. My bundle! Because if we would have went to the other one, we would have won. But I didn't tell anybody, but I was devastated because in my heart of hearts, I knew it was because of me. One more childhood memory is I remember that when it was a big deal to be the last one out of the room when there was a fire drill, because you were the first one back into the classroom because you were last in line, first in line coming back. Why that's a big deal? Couldn't tell you, but it was a big deal. Tell me, it was a big, big deal. And I remember that me and Sandy Thompson and Sandy Fell, the 3 Sandys of the 6 that were in my class, we were arguing over who was going to be the last one in line. And so we weren't leaving for the fire drill. So we got in trouble. We got in trouble. And I wasn't last, not one of the 3 of us was last in line. Name one favorite family recipe. Is it something you cook often? My family loves everything I cook. They all have their own special meals that they really like. But I think that the family recipe that everybody seems to like, because they make the most fun of me, is my spaghetti. Because I do not know how to narrow it down for sauce. I make enough to feed an army, my sauce. And then I portion it out and put it in the freezer. Because even now when it's just Jim and I at home, when I make spaghetti, I freeze the little portions of the sauce and then we eat off of that because I just don't know how to... I came from a family of like 6 kids and 2 adults, so that's 8. So we were used to making a big batch. So spaghetti, I would say. What's your favorite family tradition? Well, that kind of ties into the favorite recipe too. I actually have 2 favorite family traditions. My first favorite family tradition is what we do Eve of Christmas Eve. It started back when my kids were just like little, and Jim's family always celebrated Christmas on Christmas Eve, and my family always celebrated Christmas Day on Christmas Day. So when the kids were really kind of little babies, toddlers and stuff like that, Santa Claus would come in the morning and we'd have our little thing, we'd have our own little, party thing, and we'd go to Jim's family Christmas Eve. We'd get up in the morning, we'd have Santa Claus, and then in the afternoon we'd go to my mother's house. But then as they got older, I kind of wanted to just celebrate with just my own immediate family. And so we started the tradition of Eve of Christmas Eve. So on the eve of Christmas Eve, which is the 23rd, in case you didn't figure that one out, we would have our own little family thing where we would exchange gifts, because we always exchanged gifts. Even when I was little, and looking back, I realized how poor we were. But we always made something, like whether we sewed a pair of socks, or like knitted a pair of socks, or sewed something, or made something, and we would wrap it up in newspaper, the Sunday paper, because it was the comics. And for our birthdays and stuff like that, when we were growing up, we always had to, not that we had to, but we always looked forward to getting a gift that was kind of like handmade and special. So that when my kids got older and they got married and they were off and about, you know, like we were trying to figure out Christmas, because now they have their families now with their spouses and stuff. And so my kids had said, can we still keep doing that? And so we do that. So that's we do that every year. We have Eve, Christmas Eve. And I'm really looking forward to this year, because we're going to hopefully not have to be socially distant by then. Or like I like to say, physically distant. But my other favorite family tradition is your birthday. If you watch my channel, you know that I think that that's the most specialist day of, well, I mean, there's a lot of special days in the year, but as a family, your birthday is the best day. It's just, that is your day. That is your day to get your song. You get to pick your own favorite meal. Christy picks a full Thanksgiving turkey dinner every year. That's what she picks. Jimmy always picks a ham. So we always have ham and cheesy potatoes and the whole bit. Danny is my only one that kind of switches off. We never really know what Danny's going to pick. He usually picks lasagna or spaghetti, or I make this really crappy. He hasn't picked it. Well, no, you know what? We used to eat it when we were when they were little. It was a beef stroganoff, which really wasn't a beef stroganoff, but I called it a beef stroganoff, and it was really good. And so then he wanted that one year for his birthday, and I made it. And then he remembered how cheap it was and how bad it really was. So he never asked for that again. But Jim always picks whatever Christy wants, because, you know, she's got him wrapped around this finger and a little finger. And then I usually pick a honey baked ham for mine, because I don't like people making a fuss over me. As much as I make a fuss over everybody, I just don't think that people need to make a fuss over me, and I don't like it. So I always try to pick something, and then they get mad at me, because they say, you're not picking that because that's your favorite. You're just picking that because you think it's easier for us. Which is probably true, but it's my day is to be celebrated with them. But when I was growing up, your birthday was your special day. That was your day. And you would get up early in the morning, because I've told this before too. And since we didn't have a lot of money, since it was your special day, you did get to pick whatever you wanted. And you got a bakery cake. And looking back now, I realized that, you know, my mother always had to know like a month ahead of time what you were going to have for your birthday dinner. You know, she always say, well, what are you going to have for your birthday next month? I don't know. No, I need to know, what are you going to have for your birthday? What do you want? Because no matter what you picked, you got. No matter what you picked, you got. And then you would wake up in the morning, and your brothers and sisters would have to wait on you. So I would always get up at the crack of dawn, and I would wake my brothers and sisters up to wait on me. Because I'd say, you know, can you give me a glass of water? And then they'd bring me a glass of water, and I'd go, oh, okay, thank you. I mean, I didn't really want the water. I just wanted them to go and wait on me. See, that changed now that I'm older. I don't want people waiting on me. But when I was growing up, I kind of abused it. Well, not kind of. I did. I abused it. I abused it really bad. But so when my kids were growing up, it was the same thing for them. It was their day. They could do whatever they want. But looking back, like I was saying with the meals, since we were so poor, I realized that was how my mother budgeted her meals. So she kind of like skimped on different things during that month before your birthday, so that you could have that special meal and you could have that bakery cake. Because and it was looking back now, I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have at the time. But then, you know, I was little, I didn't know we didn't have money. It's just looking back now, I know we didn't have money. And I'm sorry, this is going on and on, isn't it? Forever and ever. Does your family have a motto, spoken or unspoken? I would just say that not so much a motto, but I've taught my children, and I was taught from a very early age, that you can always count on your family. Your family's going to always be there no matter what. The first one in line to help you with anything, any problem you have, is always going to be family. And when my kids were growing up and they would be fighting, I'd say, you know, look at your brother, look at your sister. They're going to be with you to the day you die. They're going to be the ones that's going to be looking out for you. They're the ones that are going to be taking care of you. And they're going to be the first ones you're going to call, and they're going to be the first ones that you know are going to show up. And that's true of my family now. My family, I don't have a doubt that they would show up in a New York minute, no matter what. And they could be at the other end of the earth, and they would get on a plane and they would come and take care of us. That's just how it is. Share something you did with a parent that you still enjoy doing today. Going to the cottage. My father hated the cottage, which was up in Lexington, Michigan. We'd always rented a cottage, a very small cottage. There was 6 kids and my mother, and we would be like it was like maybe a 3-room cottage. Like we'd have 1 bedroom, the living room and the kitchen and the bathroom, and that would be it. And we'd all be piled in there. We'd be sleeping on the floor or chairs or sleeping bags. And then all my aunts and uncles would go up at the same time with their kids. My Aunt Egg had 10 kids. My Aunt Rose had 4 kids. My Aunt Marge had 6 kids. My Uncle Ken had 7 kids. We would all be up there at the same time, and we would just be like swarming the beach and stuff like that. And so I still do that to this day. I go up to the cottage with my kids. Share something unique about your family or your family history. We're just odd. I really do think we're like a Brady Bunch family. I don't see that many families. There are out there. I'm not saying they're not out there, but we've had many people say, well, you guys are just like the Brady Bunch, because we just do everything together. Even through all this lockdown, my brother and my sisters and I 3 or 4 times a week do a video thing where we talk and just see how everybody's doing. When we were going out, we went out once a month for dinner, and we celebrate our birthdays. Other than that, just that I don't have a doubt of my family, and my family is number 1 on my list. And it's just, this is the hardest part about this whole lockdown, is not being with my family. I would have on my family, I had the family. My mother always had Sunday dinners, and then when my mother passed, my mother moved in with me, and then I kind of took over that I was doing the family dinners. And then when my mother passed, I carried on the tradition. So I would have a family dinner, and everybody would come. I mean, Denise's family, Mary's family, my brother, my family. It was like, there would be like 20, 25 people every week. It was like a Thanksgiving dinner every week. And we did it every Thursday. Every Thursday was family dinner. Sometimes Kathleen was able to come. It depended on her work schedule. It was just something I really look forward to doing, and it was just so much fun. And we haven't been together since February, because March is when all of the lockdown started. We were supposed to do Christy's birthday on March 11th. Everybody was going to get together for Christy's birthday, and it didn't turn out. So I think that's kind of unique about my family. Now that I think about it, how many families have a weekly family dinner that includes everyone beyond your immediate family, that whoever wants to show up. And I've had friends show up. It's just, there's always enough food. You can always stretch it a little bit. It kind of reminds me of the one time, and this will be the last day because I'm going on too long right now, but when my brother Bruce, my sister's husband Bruce passed, we had the wake at the house here, and Bruce was kind of like, he was a really good guy. He was a really good guy, but he was kind of like a loner type of thing. It's like you didn't really see him out and about that much with a lot of, he had friends, and I don't want to sound like he didn't have any friends, but he was always kind of, just kind of like a loner, I guess. But anyway, when he had his funeral, we had it at my house, the wake at the house, because we really weren't expecting that many people. And oh my gosh, the amount of people that showed up, it just touched my heart so much to see how many people came up, but we didn't have enough food. So we would, the family would get in line, and we'd go up there and go, "What are you doing in line? Get out of line, get out of line." And they go, "What?" Like my kids and my grandkids. I go, "You're not eating right now. The guests are eating." And think, well, we got our plate. Put your plate down. You're not eating. We're feeding these people first, because your family will eat later. Guests eat first. So anyway, I'm sorry this went on so long, but this is my favorite video. Family. If I can talk about my family, I can go on for hours and hours and hours. So thank you, Joan, for tagging me. I really appreciate it. Sorry it was so long. And once again, I'm going to tag Valerie Reese, HeatherRoseUp, Meema, McHealthy, and Mels' Weight Loss Journey. Thank you. Thank you, Tracy, for doing these. Thank you for having a family one, and Thank you for putting up with me for almost 20 minutes. I appreciate it. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Or tomorrow. I'll talk to you on my daily vlog tonight. Well, maybe tomorrow. Who's to know?